All right, we are live on YouTube. I just need for this picture to connect, this video to connect on my other monitor so I can grab that link and put it in our free business mastermind group so that our community can join us live on YouTube and in the live chat. So let me grab that link. Here we go. And we're going to throw it in our free business mastermind group. Let's let that cycle through. Boom. All right. So let me make sure I can see the live chat and we are going to get started. I can see it. I see it. All right. Welcome to your First Six Figures Morning Show, where every show is intentionally more of an interactive coaching and training experience to position you, the online service-based entrepreneur, to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. This week's blog is at shaycannon.com/over. That's shaycannon.com/over, because what we're talking about this week is something that came into my spirit over the weekend that I know that we need to be very hyper aware of in 2025. And that is stop overcompensating and under earning in business. Okay. So overcompensation in business often stems from a well-intentioned desire to prove value, stand out, and secure success. At its core, overcompensation is the act of doing, giving, and creating more than necessary, okay? Often to compensate for perceived shortcomings or insecurities. While it may seem like going the extra mile is a sign of dedication, this approach can unintentionally become a disservice to you and your business and your revenue goals, okay? It drains your resources, it dilutes your focus, and it shifts energy away from what truly drives growth and profitability. Instead of building trust and driving results, overcompensation can create inefficiencies that lead to under earning, leaving business owners frustrated and stuck in a cycle of doing more but achieving less. Okay, so recognizing and addressing these patterns is crucial and critical for breaking through revenue plateaus and stepping into sustainable success. So this week we're going to talk about four main areas that entrepreneurs tend to overcompensate. Okay, today we're going to talk about your offer. That is the first thing that came to my mind, where we as entrepreneurs, especially service-based entrepreneurs, especially times two, women service-based entrepreneurs, okay? When we overcompensate with our service offers, they often blur the boundaries of what the business is designed to achieve, okay? Instead of honing in on the unique value that you bring to your clients, what you're doing is stretching your service to cover every possible need and expectation. Okay. This not only creates confusion for potential clients, but also diminishes the clarity and strength of your brand. So by trying to be everything to everyone, you risk exhausting your resources and devaluing your expertise. So true success lies in simplifying and refining offers to align with the problems you solve, creating a clearer path to profitability and impact. Okay, that was a lot of words, and that was a lot of words to say. Your offer at its basic value should take someone from A to B. Okay, your offer at its basic value should take someone from A to B, where they are to where you promised to take them. All those extra rows along the way is not the core offer, okay? And it's not the core service. So you need to be aware of when you are offering one service, but because the client's need is so great, they're trying to pull you in different directions than the service that they have paid for. Okay, that is overcompensating, whether you realize that or not. Clients can push you into giving more, or your insecurity in and of itself can bring up the fact that you should be giving more. But either way, you are overcompensating, right? Because compensation at the end of the day is giving a value. So if you're giving more than what they paid for, you're giving more than what the service should include, even if they're paying for it. If you're giving more in a smaller amount of time than the time frame that it takes to service, all of that is overcompensation, y'all. Okay. So I just want you to understand how all the different ways. I get in trouble a lot with overgiving, right? And it is still overcompensation. So for me, I overgive because when they get to this point, they're gonna need this. Oh, I want them to have this. Oh, what about this? And what happens is you've given them so much, the clear path to the transformation gets lost. It gets lost. You've given them too much. Now, will they be able to use all of that at some point? Yeah, but how about we give that at some point? Or how about we separate it from the core value? Okay. So, for example, those are the things you can give as bonuses. You can even give time released bonuses, right? Instead of trying to include all of that as part of the main offer, shed all that extra stuff from the core offer so that people know exactly the value that they bought and the extra. Okay. One of the things that I did with one of my first business courses, which Shawana Kennedy Media is here. She was a member cohort of my very first cohort of my business course. I gave them so much stuff. Okay, all the things. I gave them all the things. So many resources, right? That the straight line from A to B got lost, right? And sometimes when you give people too much, you're actually putting too much on their brain, and they shouldn't even have all of that on their brain. They should just have the A to the B. Okay. So remember, we sometimes overcompensate with our offer. Now, that's what's in the blog post. I gave you a little more, but I got much more, right? On the morning show, I give you much more. So let me bring out these show notes. And I'm going to give you 10 strategies to try to help you to not overcompensate with your offer. Okay. Now, the question, so that you can start thinking about it for our round robin in studio, is in what ways might you be overgiving in your service? I want you to think about it. Okay. In what ways might you be overgiving in your service? And then you can tell me also which one of the strategies we're about to discuss do you think will help. But I basically want to know in what ways might you be overgiving with your service. When we get ready, we're going to start with Dr. Tachi. All right. So number one, as a strategy to help you to not overcompensate with your offer, is define the offer. Okay. Define the offer. I even go further with define the transformation. Okay. Define the transformation. So if you know this service is meant to do this thing and stuff starts coming up about you doing other things, the definition of your offer based on the transformation that it's supposed to do, it tells you that's too much. That's overcompensating. Okay. So clearly identify what the core service or product is and its value. Stick to what you do best, and trying to cover every possible need of the client is not a good thing. Okay. So we have different services, different tiers of services that are supposed to do and give different things. Let's stick to what we designed. Okay. Also, even if we have a next step service, if what they bought was not that service, let's not talk about this next step yet. Let's focus on the step that we're on, the one that you paid for. Okay. So define your core offer. Over here on the YouTube side, good morning, Glow, and good morning, Dewana. Number two strategy for not overcompensating with your offer: set boundaries on the customization. Okay, set boundaries on the customization. You have a process, or you should have a process and phases for your business. All this little extra, there should be a limit to it. Okay, because you know what it takes as an expert to get them from the A to B, how to get them to the transformation that you have baked into this offer and that they paid for. Anything that's a variation from that structure should be limited. Okay, so limited customization by creating structured packages and tiers and services. Okay, so you can offer add-ons instead of reinventing your wheel. See, what happens, especially for our service-based businesses, is we are the expert. We plan out what the service should look like and how to get the person from A to B to get them the transformation. Then we start working with them. We see all the other stuff they need, whether they see it or not, or they start asking for stuff and we start trying to bake it in. No, let's focus on what it is as a structure, not all the customizations. Okay. Now, there are some services that have some customizations baked in there, right? But don't go all willy-nilly and go too big with it. Let me give y'all an example just to make sure we hit this home, right? So I have a client that is a tech expert. We do website builds, right? So we do 5 pages. Those 5 pages are usually like the home page, an about page, a service page or product page, a contact page, and a blog page. Okay, that's your 5 basic pages. Now, yes, you might want this extra page. You might want this extra page because there are unseen pages that don't show up on the menu, but there may be hyperlinks to it on those 5 main pages. Okay, but guess what? We're doing the 5 main pages first. Okay, and so the customization of the added pages can be an add-on, but we're going to focus on them 5 pages first, and we'll get to those add-ons after we finish the 5 pages. Okay, so set boundaries on customization. Number 3, focus on your ideal client. Okay. Woo. One of the ways I see people overcompensating and smearing their clarity is you pick an ideal client avatar. You start marketing to this avatar. And what you find is, even though you hone your message into your ideal avatar, people who are not your ideal avatar come and ask you questions or come and make suggestions or come and buy your product. And now all of a sudden, you're trying to make them the ideal client, or you're trying to include them into the messaging. No, you attracted them by talking to your ideal client and focusing on them. You will keep attracting people who are not your ideal client, but you know who you made this for. Okay. So design your offer specifically for that ideal client avatar. Know their pain points, understand their goals, stay focused on them. Yes, you will attract other people, but stay focused. Okay. Because the minute you start widening that focus to include all these other people, because you got lack mentality, when you had an abundant mentality that I can serve my ideal client avatar, it still attracted them. Stop changing your stuff, okay? Unless the data shows that you should change. But most of y'all haven't even been doing stuff long enough to get data. So focus on your one ideal client avatar. Number 4, adopt the MVP approach, okay? MVP. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, this is something that I have to do because, of course, I'm a habitual overgiver, okay? And overgiving is overcompensating. But if you start with a streamlined version of your offer, okay? Test to make sure it's successful and actually gets them to the transformation. What is the minimal thing you can do to get them the transformation? That is the offer. That is the straight line from A to B. All that extra stuff would be nice, that would support that is a bonus, make it separate, make it a bonus. So when you're creating offers, when you're creating what a service should be and the steps to it, minimal viable product, MVP. Okay, don't forget that. I have to do that all the time. I have my fantasy version. That's always the first version that I'm going to come up with. If you're like me, I can't help but to come up with the fantasy version. So what I then do is pull out of the fantasy version the MVP. So that's what I want you to do. If you can't start with MVP, go ahead and map out the fantasy version, but pull out the MVP. And then that is what the offer is. Okay. Number 5, establish clear deliverables. Establish clear deliverables. This is where some of y'all get caught up with overcompensating. And it's not even something you did. It's something you allowed the client to do because you weren't clear with what they were going to get. And let me tell you, as a service provider, once you get started with a service and you get that monkey off their back, they start finding other monkeys and throwing them at you. They do. So you need to be clear on what your deliverables are, because if you are not, what starts to happen is the client's expectation gets in the way. And the fact that you weren't clear with your deliverables, now, as a matter of honor, as a matter of reputation, you feel compelled to give them this extra stuff because you weren't clear with the deliverables in the first place. Okay? So this is why in my packages and my services, I not only say, hey, this is what you get, I like to say, this is what you do not get, to make it clear. Okay? Let's go back to that website service. What you're going to get is these 5 pages. What you're going to get is us designing a layout best for your content and your visuals and the type of business that you have. Okay? And we're going to connect up the technology to your website. What you're not going to get is us creating your visuals, and we're not going to write your copy. Okay? We're not going to create lead magnets. We will connect them up, but we're not creating them for you. You see what I'm saying? So that's a great example of this is what you get, but just so we can curb your expectation and set it correctly, this is what you don't get. All right? Let's go to number 6. Standardize your processes. SOPs, y'all. Okay? Develop repeatable workflows and templates for delivering your services. This is going to help you go faster. And if you can go faster, that means you can service more people and open your capacity, make more money. Okay? So this consistency ensures quality, and it prevents overcomplication and overcompensation. Okay? Number 7, say no strategically. Avoid saying yes to every client request. I know that old school customer service has taught you that the customer is always right. I am not a believer in the customer is always right. I'm a believer in that the contract and agreement that we have between us is always right. That's what's always right. So if you want more or I want to do less, neither one of us is right. What did we agree to? That's what's right. So start saying yes. Don't say yes to everything the client requests. Always refer back to the contract, back to the agreement, back to the deliverables agreed upon. Okay? I love having things in writing just for that purpose, so that I say, hey, I don't think that's a part of what we agreed upon at this time. So let's just focus on this, and then we can talk about that later. Okay? Or we could talk about adding that in for an additional fee later. So evaluate whether additional work aligns with your business and your goals and your capacity, whether it's not something you're doing right now or not, because sometimes it's something you shouldn't be doing at all. All right? Number 8, audit and simplify your offer regularly. Okay? Periodically review your offer to identify are there any redundancies or things you're doing over and over again? Are there any elements to it that are no longer serving the business or the client effectively? What we know is that businesses evolve, right? Even technology comes in and makes things easier. So you should always be checking to see if the technology you're using to service your clients is the up-to-date technology, or is it the most efficient technology, or is there another technology out there that would do more for less for you to help you service your client? Okay? But every now and then, we're going to say at least quarterly, you should be reviewing your offers, but definitely annually. Okay? Number 9, communicate value, not volume. This is where a lot of y'all get messed up. You want to do more and more and more, and you start saying, oh, we could do more, we could do this, you can have this many of that, you can have this quantity of this. That's not the way. Okay? That's Walmart thinking. Okay? That's Dollar General thinking. That's volume. Volume is cheap. You need to be creating and focusing on value, and that's what you communicate. Yes, I only work for you 15 hours out of the month, but the value that I'm going to give you for that 15 hours out of the month is all of these things. Okay? It's not I'm going to work all of these hours. No. No, don't worry about how long it takes me to give you the value that you buy. And as long as you get the value and the transformation, and if I say it only takes me this, that is more of a reflection of my experience than it is not being enough quantity. All right? I run into that a lot. So communicate the value, not the volume. We don't want to do more, and more is not needed. Okay? Number 10 is something we kind of talked about last week, but price for profitability. Okay? Price for profitability. Ensure your pricing reflects the full value of your offer, including the time it takes you to do it, your expertise doing it, and the resources you have to use to do it. Okay? When you underprice, you push yourself to over delivering unnecessarily. Okay. So you could be doing exactly the A to B of what it takes to do the service, but if it's underpriced, you still have overcompensated price wise because you're not going to make the profit that you're supposed to based on the time, your expertise, and your resources spent. All right. Now let's go through those 10 again without the extra. And again, we are going to, Glow said, I need to communicate value. Yes, you do, Glow. Kimberly is over here on the YouTube side. Good morning, Kimberly. All right, y'all. We're going to start with Dr. Tachi. The question is, in what ways might you be overgiving with your service? And once you have thought of that way, let me know if any one of these strategies will help with that. Let's go through the 10 without the extra, okay? Number 1, define your core offer. Number 2, set boundaries on customization. Number 3, focus on your ideal client avatar. Number 4, adopt the MVP approach or minimal viable product. Okay. Number 5, establish clear deliverables. Number 6, standardize your processes. Number 7, say no strategically. Number 8, audit and simplify your offer regularly, at least quarterly. Number 9, communicate value, not volume. It's the wrong V. Okay. Number 10, price your profitability. Okay. Price for profitability. All right. Dr. Tachi, in what ways might you be overgiving with your service? And will any of these strategies help you with that?
Yes, actually, all of these to me are actually ways that you can overgive in terms of it. So I'm looking at all of them, but number 10, pricing for profitability. Definitely when it comes to that. And then I know you said 1, so I'll stop.
Give it to me. I want to hear it.
Okay. Also, the creating structured packages and tiers. I think it needs to be better defined. Even though they're there, they need better definition. And then one other thing I want to say is that when you have say no strategically, you mentioned the customer is always right. But and you know this, the whole saying is actually the customer is always right in matters of taste. So yeah, you can like this all you like, but you're not always right. And when it comes to your taste, yes, but not in terms of what I'm going to do. So that's what I have.
Awesome. That was great. Thank you for the value add, Dr. Tachi. All right, let's go to Shawana Kennedy Media. In what ways might you be overgiving with your service? And which of these 10 strategies do you think will help?
No, actually, honestly, I do agree totally with what Dr. Tachi said because I am and have been guilty. So I have to not even necessarily say no. I have to really, really, really always go back to what was the agreed upon deliverables. I have to just like put that at the forefront, even after a call. And again, my goodness, the timeliness of this is so spot on because honestly, really, I have to today, I have to go back and after a call on yesterday, I am doing a follow-up and a summary of the things that we're going to be working through. And so this is so great. And I know that's why God had me to hold off from not sending it last night to hear this today, to make sure that I'm hitting all of these things in my response to our conversation last night, to make sure I take it right back to the deliverables, because I already feel the inching in of what it would feel like is overcompensating. So thank you again.
Yeah, cool beans. All right. Let's go to Dr. Latoya. In what ways might you be overgiving with your service? And which of the 10 strategies we talked about today do you feel like will help?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I definitely overgave in individual sessions because I just wanted people to be better and like all of the things. And I would feel guilty if I knew I had something that could help them in the situation, but it wasn't necessarily what they pay for or the scope of the service that we asked for. So I would do it. But how I have fixed that across all things is I stick to the time. So like if we have a 30-minute, like whatever we can do in 30 minutes, right? Or whatever we can do in this hour session, and then you have the option. So I feel like that makes it really clear and easy, you know, and sometimes I give people the choice. Like, I know you booked this, but this is what's coming up. We can stick with this in 30 minutes, but I can't do both. Which one would you like for me to do? And I'm very good with that. Yep.
I like that. I like that. For me, I'm kind of the same way, but I also try to stick to, see, sometimes we as the experts, see, we know way more than, of course, most of the clients that come to us. And so they're coming to us for this one thing. But what we understand is it might take three things before they get to that one thing, or that one thing is not going to work alone if they don't have these two things, right? But if they come in asking for a one thing, you still have to focus on the one thing as a matter of what they paid for. Or, like Dr. Latoya said, you tell them, hey, I know you said you want this one thing. However, what you actually need is this entire package. But this costs this, which is what you was ready to, invest in. But what you need is this. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the investment you need for the transformation that you're looking for. So you, like she said, you give them the choice. Now, what you don't do is allow them to take the smaller package and then you still put in everything from the bigger package. That's what we can't do. That's the overcompensation. Okay. But I also feel like this is why we have our offer ladder. Okay. Because we're very clear that the bottom step has this transformation, the middle step, this one, the top step, that one. And so when they pick, we're very clear on what the transformation is going to be and what we're going to deliver for that step, and that there's other steps if they want more transformation. If you go ahead and organize and structure that, you're less likely to start over giving because you've structured a way to give all of that. So thank you, Dr. Latoya. Let's go to Dr. LaFera. In what ways might you be over giving with your service, and which of the 10 strategies do you feel like could help? Oh, wait, let me ask you to unmute, because see, earlier you was a little loud and I had to mute you.
Yes.
Yes.
So in the beginning, I over gave stuff like when I was working with clients. But because I wanted testimonials,
Yes.
because I wanted people to say, oh, she did this, we did this. But I gave up too much of my time. I had no weekend, well, no Saturday. And I got transformation, but to me, it wasn't worth me giving up my Saturday. Because I'm single, so I can't give up my Saturdays like that. And so, yeah, now I have like offer ladder that I can point people to, especially like now that I'm doing webinars, like it's very clear, like it's in writing, like you see in front of you, like this is what you get, like so it's like even if I don't give you like any type of extra stuff, or if I do, like what I said you get is like right in front of you. So I guess the thing like eventually soon will be like price for profitability. So for right now I'm pricing for again to get people in, but what you get is still like what I said you get, and like nothing extra. So
Okay, cool beans. Thank you, Dr. LaFera. All right, Cheryl, in what ways might you be over giving with your service? And out of the 10 strategies we discussed this morning, do you think one of them will help? Let's see if Cheryl is still available. Cheryl, if you're talking to us, you are muted. All right, we'll come back to Cheryl. Keith is with us this morning. He has put it in our studio chat, and he said, I offer packages now, so I'll say establish clear deliverables. Certain products aren't available in those packages. You're going to have to pay that extra add-on fee. Yes, Yes, yes. This is the value of knowing the A to B transformation, right? Because if you go to the client is always going to need more than what you're offering in the package. And they're always, and it's not just people trying to get over. There are those, but sometimes it's just people that just know they need more and they just want to know, is it included? Now you have the right to say yes or no, right? So stop including stuff that you know was not included. Now, for me, I don't mind including things that will take nothing from me, right? And y'all know I have a lot of resources and it takes nothing from me to add that in as a bonus. But I make sure I'm not adding that stuff in as the A to B, right? I make sure you know this is extra. I make sure that you understand that this may enhance the path, but you don't need it for the path to get the transformation, right? So yeah, we have to make sure that we are clear. So thank you for that, Keith. Heather is back with us. We missed her. So Heather, in what ways might you be over giving with your service, and will one of the 10 strategies we discussed this morning help with that?
Probably all of them. But I really think, to Keith's point, is creating, maybe not package is probably not the right word, because there's editing, there's ghostwriting, there's two different kinds of ghostwriting. Those have very different pricing tiers, but the editing is just what it is. But I often find myself in talking with the client is like, oh, have you already thought about how you're going to market your book? That is not my thing. And I shouldn't be talking about that with them.
No.
Like, that is not something we need to talk about. Although I get excited about it because my mind starts going, but that's not in our scope of work.
No.
But
I will tell you what you can do is, instead of asking them that, right? Because see, asking them creates an expectation.
Correct.
What you can do is, as you deliver your service, you can just add on the side your thoughts. You know, I don't do this, but these are some thoughts I had, you know, take it to your marketing professional or whatever. And that way it's not a part of the expectation. And it's truly a bonus because it's so unexpected, but it feels like, you know what I'm saying? But it took nothing from you to jot down what you thought. Now, if you bring it up, now you got to do a whole separate session on it, try to make it this and because now there's an expectation.
Yeah. Right. Then you're doing strategy and timelines and
that ain't even your expertise. And so cut it out.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. That's my main one. So
yeah. And so, because we often have things that will help, right? We often have the extra things that are not our expertise that we might be good at because we got to do it for our own business, right?
Right.
However, throw that to the side, add that in later. Don't even say anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And make sure in there you say, hey, and make sure you go to a professional, or, you know, this is just my thoughts on it. This is not what I do. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to help over here. But yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. No problem. Over here on the YouTube side, Kimberly says she needs to focus on the avatar. She needs to add it regularly, and she definitely needs to communicate value, not volume. Glow says she needs to be pricing for profitability. Yes. And don't y'all forget that profitability is not just use of resources. It definitely is use of resources. However, it is also your time, and it is also your expertise. Okay. So even with resources, especially us service-based businesses, where we get caught up in is we're using a lot of technology, right? You're not pricing for that technology that you're using. A lot of you, your prices are so low. That's the reason why you can't have a team, or the reason why you can't step up to the technology that would do more for you. So all of those things should be included in your pricing. There should be nothing in your business when you're making money that should be coming out of pocket. Your business should be paying for itself in its totality. Okay. It's funny to me how I find that people, like, let me give you an example. I was talking to somebody about a retreat the other day, and I'm looking at the amount of money that they're spending, and I'm looking at their pricing for the retreat. They had not even baked into the pricing of the retreat the cost of their own room, the cost of them to eat, the cost of, you know what I'm saying, the things that they needed to do to be there as the expert. That's an expense to the company, and it should be baked into this offer, right? So whatever it takes for you to service this offer should be considered in the pricing. And so we, as service-based businesses, those things tend to look invisible to us until all this stuff starts getting withdrawn from our account. Then we kept trying to figure out how we got this many clients, but still struggling to pay this stuff, or how we're not making a profit, or we don't feel abundant. Your pricing is probably too low. So we definitely need to price for profitability. All right. Does anybody have any questions about overcompensation or overcompensation with your offer? Any questions or value adds? Mm-hmm. Look, Heather had to speak for all y'all since she was off the mic.
I didn't realize it was off the mic. Sorry.
Let's go to these announcements. All right. You want these 10 strategies, and so they're in my show notes. There are only 2 ways to get my show notes. Number 1, be in our free mastermind group. They live in the files section. Or number 2, you can get the entire morning show in your email inbox by going to shakehannon.com/show. What'll happen is you'll get 2 emails every broadcast day. Number 1, you will get a reminder to hop on the live YouTube. Number 2, you'll get an email in the afternoon with a link to the replay and a link to the show notes. So go to shakehannon.com/show and get that. Today is a get shit done work session from 1 to 5 for the paid membership only. However, on Friday, we have another Get Shit Done work session, and the free community is invited to come in on the last part of that. And you can get the details of that in the free community. If you're in the paid membership, you get it from your member dashboard. All right. Cool beans. Get shit done work session today. All right. Find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, how to join our free business mastermind group, and any links that we talked about down below. If you haven't already, do me a favor and give a thumbs up to this episode. Don't forget that you need to subscribe to the channel, and this is going to be a series, so make sure that you check out other videos. All right. All right, people. Tomorrow, what we're going to talk about is, well, I think I closed out the blog. Who got the blog open? Because I forgot. Okay, what we talking about tomorrow, Heather?
Tomorrow we are talking about marketing and overcompensation in marketing.
Overcompensating with your marketing. Thank you, Heather. All right, so we're gonna continue our series with overcompensating with marketing. So join us on tomorrow. That's it for today. So have a great day. We'll see you right back here. The studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.